The deep space research vessel, Horizon, floated silently in the darkness near Alpha Centauri. Earth had sent the ship to explore this neighboring star system, hoping to find new resources or even habitable planets. Captain Gina stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the main screen. Her short black hair was neatly tucked behind her ears as she studied the strange readings. "What do you think it is, Ta?" she asked her science officer. Tai adjusted his glasses and frowned at his console. "I've never seen anything like it, Captain. It's not a planet or an asteroid. The shape is too perfect." The object that had appeared on their sensors was oval-shaped and about the size of a small moon. It reflected no light, absorbing everything around it like a black hole, yet it wasn't pulling the Horizon toward it. "Should we get closer?" asked Mina, the ship's pilot. Her fingers hovered over the controls, ready to move the Horizon forward or retreat to safety. "Yes," Gina decided, "but slowly. Han, keep weapons ready, just in case." Han, the security chief, nodded. His broad shoulders tensed as he prepared the ship's defense systems. As they approached, the object began to change. The black surface rippled like water, and streaks of blue light appeared across its hull. "Captain," Ta called out, "I'm detecting life signs now. The object, it's organic. It's some kind of living ship." Gina's heart raced. This was why they had traveled so far from Earth, to discover new life. "Can we communicate with it?" "I've been sending standard greeting signals, but there's no response," said Sun, the communications officer. Her long fingers moved quickly over her panel. "The ship appears to be dormant or sleeping." Gina made her decision. "We need to take a closer look. Han, Ta, Mina, you're with me on the OA team." They suited up and took a small shuttle to the alien vessel. Up close, the surface looked like smooth black glass. They found what appeared to be an entrance, a hexagonal doorway that didn't open when they approached. "The ship might respond to touch," Ta suggested. He reached out and placed his gloved hand on the surface. The moment he touched the ship, the black material became transparent, and the door slid open. Inside, soft blue light illuminated curved corridors that seemed to be made of the same glassy material. "It's beautiful," whispered Mina as they entered cautiously. The air inside was breathable, so they removed their helmets. The walls pulsed with faint light, almost like a heartbeat. "This way," Ta said, following readings on his handheld device. "I'm detecting energy signatures ahead." They walked through winding passages until they reached a large circular room. In the center stood two tall crystal formations that reached from floor to ceiling. They glowed with inner light, one blue, one violet. "Are these power sources?" Han asked, keeping his hand near his weapon. Mina stepped forward, fascinated by the crystals. "I want to scan them. They might be what powers the ship." She took out her scanner and pointed it at the blue crystal. The moment the scanner's beam touched the crystal, the room came alive. The floor began to hum, and the crystals pulsed brightly. The team backed away, but it was too late. The crystals cracked open like eggs, and two tall figures stepped out. They were humanoid but clearly alien. Their skin was translucent and faceted like diamonds, reflecting light in dazzling patterns. They had no hair, and their eyes were solid colors. The taller one had blue eyes, while the shorter ones were violet. "Humans," the taller one said, but her lips didn't move. The voice echoed directly in their minds. "After all this time, we have found you." Han raised his weapon. "Captain, they're in our heads." The alien tilted her head. "I apologize for the intrusion. I can feel every inch of you, your thoughts, fears, hopes. It is overwhelming." Gina stepped forward. "I am Captain Gina of the Earth vessel Horizon. Who are you?" "I am Naira." The taller alien responded mentally. "This is my sister Lyra. We are the Kithari, and we have traveled very far." Lyra, the smaller one, stepped forward with graceful movements. Your minds are so isolated from each other. How do you communicate fully without sharing thoughts? The humans felt uncomfortable as the aliens' minds touched theirs. It was like fingers gently probing their brains, seeing memories and feelings they kept private. In our culture, Jinnah explained firmly, our thoughts are private. We communicate with words and expressions. Nyara's crystal face reflected confusion. Privacy of thought. This is a strange concept to us. Kithari share all with their kin. Todd was busy scanning the aliens. Captain, their bodies are crystalline structures. They're silicon-based life forms, not carbon-based like us. We have been in stasis for what you would call centuries, Mayara continued. Our ship was damaged when we fled our home. Fled? Han asked, still suspicious. What were you running from? Both sisters' faces darkened, sending waves of fear that the humans could actually feel radiating from them. The Void Collective, Lyra answered, her mental voice trembling. They hunt us for what we are, for what we can do. And what exactly can you do? Jinnah asked. Nyara straightened her tall form. We are connectors. Our crystalline bodies can transmit consciousness across vast distances instantly. The collective wishes to harvest us for their communication network. The implications hit Jinnah hard. These beings were refugees, and they had just awakened them from safety. Are these, Void Collective, are they still looking for you? Yes, Nara confirmed. And now that we are awake, they will sense us. You have put yourselves in danger by finding us. Han stepped closer to his captain. We should leave them here. This isn't our fight. But before Jinnah could respond, the ship's lights flickered, and a low moan echoed through the structure. It's too late, Lyra said sadly. The ship senses them. The collective has found us again. Nyara turned her crystalline gaze to Jinnah. Captain of Earth, we need your help. Will you give us sanctuary, knowing what follows us? Jinnah looked at her team, then back at the alien sisters. First contact had just become first crisis. Whatever she decided next would change the course of human history forever. Back on the horizon, Captain Jinnah called an emergency meeting. The Kithari sisters stood in the ship's conference room, their crystalline bodies catching the light. The human crew couldn't help staring at them. Explain exactly what this Void Collective is, Jinnah said to Nara. They are a group of worlds that joined together long ago, Nyara answered, her thoughts flowing into their minds. They connect their ships and soldiers through a single mind, but the connection only works in small areas. They need beings like us to extend their reach across stars. And what would they do to you? Asked Ta. Lyra shuddered, sending a wave of fear through everyone in the room. They would break us down, put pieces of us in their machines. We would be aware but trapped forever, feeling our bodies used as tools. Han shook his head. That's horrible, but why should Earth get involved? We've barely started exploring beyond our solar system. Because they won't stop with us, Nayara said simply. Once they learn about humans, they will want you too. Your planet is rich with resources they can use. Jinnah touched her communication badge. I need to speak with Earth Command about this. The call to Earth was tense. On the screen, Admiral Da looked concerned as Jinnah explained the situation. You want to bring these aliens back to Earth? He asked. When they're being hunted by an advanced enemy fleet. These beings need our help, Jinnah argued. The Kithari have valuable knowledge. Their technology is far beyond ours, and the risk is far beyond acceptable, Admiral Da countered. One research ship is not authorized to make first contact decisions that could affect all of humanity. Mena stepped forward. Sir, I've been studying their ship. The materials and energy systems could help solve Earth's resource problems. We can't just abandon them. Admiral Da sighed. Return to Earth immediately. The Council will decide what to do with these refugees. After the call ended, Jinnah turned to her crew. Prepare for departure. We're taking the Kithari sisters with us. And their ship, asked Han. We'll need to hide it, Jinnah decided. Tai, can we mask its energy signature? Ta nodded. If the sisters help, yes. We can move it into the shadow of one of Alpha Centauri's outer planets. They worked quickly. The Kithari helped Tai create a shield around their living ship, hiding it from sensors. Then the Horizon began its journey back to Earth, with the sisters on board. During the journey, Lyra spent time in the ship's observation deck, staring at the stars. Jinnah found her there one evening. Your home is beautiful, Lyra said without turning around. So much water, so much life. We had a world like that once. What happened to your people? Jinnah asked gently. The collective found us. Some fought, some ran. Nyara and I were sent away with the knowledge of our people. We are the last Kithari. Jinnah stood beside her. I'm sorry. You risk much to help us, Lyra observed. How can you be so perfectly firm in your decision when it might bring danger to your world? Jinnah thought about this. Because it's right, and because I believe that if we help others when they need it, maybe someone will help us when we need it. Lyra's crystal face shifted into what might have been a smile. Your mind works differently than any species we've encountered. You feel doubt, yet act with certainty. You fear, yet move forward. That's being human, Jinnah said simply. Their conversation was interrupted when Han rushed in. Captain, we're picking up unusual readings at the edge of our solar system. 3 objects moving faster than any known spacecraft. In the control room, Tai was studying the sensor readings. They're definitely not human vessels. Their energy signature doesn't match anything in our database. The collective, Nyara said, her mental voice tight with fear. They've found us already. How? Han demanded. We've been careful. They must have detected our awakening, Lyra explained. Our minds have a unique energy pattern. Jinnah made a quick decision. New course. We're not going directly to Earth. We'll head to the Mars Defense Station first. The Council ordered us straight back, Han reminded her. I know what they ordered, Jinnah said firmly. But I won't lead these ships to Earth. We need to warn the defense station and prepare. As they changed course, the 3 unknown vessels adjusted their trajectory too. They're definitely following us, Minna confirmed. How much time until we reach Mars? Jinnah asked. 18 hours at top speed, Minna answered. But those ships will catch us before then. They're moving too fast. Nyara stepped forward. There is a way we could increase your ship's speed. We can connect to your engines with our minds. Is that safe? Tai asked. For us, yes, Lyra said. For your engines, we don't know. Jinnah looked at her crew, then at the approaching enemy ships on the screen. Do it. The sisters placed their crystal hands on the engine control panel. The ship's lights flickered as energy flowed through them and into the ship. The Horizon lurched forward suddenly, pushing everyone back into their seats. Speed has increased by 80%. Minna called out excitedly. Yes. Look at this. Minna placed a small device on Jinnah's desk. It contained a tiny crystal that glowed softly. This crystal can hold more data than all the computers on this station combined. And that's just the beginning. While the scientists worked, the Kithari sisters began teaching interested humans to focus their thoughts. In the station's large meeting room, Nyara led daily sessions. Clear your mind. She instructed a group of 20 humans wearing the new neural interfaces. Think of a simple image, a tree, a star, a face. Hold it steady. Han was among the students, though he had been skeptical at first. This is harder than it looks, he complained as his concentration broke again. You try to control too much, Nyara told him. Your mind jumps from the tree to wondering if you're doing it right, to wondering what others think of you, to remembering a tree from your childhood. Han looked surprised. You can see all that. Just the edges, Nyara assured him. The interface limits the connection, as Dr. Boney designed it to do. Lyra worked with a different group. teaching them how Kithari shared memories. A memory is not just an image, she explained. It has feelings, smells, sounds. When you share it, try to include all of these. Captain Gina practiced with Nara most evenings. Their connection grew stronger with each session. One night, after successfully sharing a memory of Gina's first day at the Space Academy, they sat together looking out at the stars. "Your people learn so quickly," Nara commented. "In just weeks, you've accomplished what takes most species years." "We're motivated," Gina replied. "The collective is still out there watching us." "Yes," Nara agreed. "But there's something more. Your minds are unique. You hold contradictions that would tear other species apart. You fear death yet risk your lives. You crave privacy yet long for connection." Gina smiled. "We're complicated. That may be your greatest strength," Nayara said thoughtfully. "The collective cannot understand minds like yours. They see your contradictions as flaws." As they talked, Gina found herself sharing more personal thoughts with Nara. She showed her memories of her family, her fears about commanding the horizon, her hopes for humanity's future in space. "Your concept of family extends beyond blood relation," Nayara observed. "You consider your crew as family too." "Yes," Gina admitted. "Sometimes the families we choose are as important as the ones we're born into. We fight hardest for those we choose to love," Nayara repeated, learning the concept. This explains much about human behavior. Their conversation was cut short by an emergency alarm. They rushed to the command center where Commander Jun was receiving reports from Titan, Saturn's largest moon. "The outpost on Titan has gone silent," Jun announced grimly. "We sent a patrol ship to investigate. They found this." On the screen appeared images of destruction. The small research base had been completely destroyed. Was it the collective? Gina asked, though she already knew the answer. Jun nodded. The patrol ship captured this before retreating. He played a short video showing 3 black ships matching those that had chased the horizon. "This was a message," Nara said, her mental voice heavy with sorrow. "They are showing what will happen to any who shelter us." The room fell silent. Then Han spoke up. "So what? Are we supposed to just hand you over because they broke some of our toys?" Gina looked at him in surprise. Han had been the most skeptical about helping the Kithari. "What?" he said defensively. "I don't like anyone telling Earth what to do. Besides, I've been in your head, Nara. I've seen what they did to your people. We can't let that happen again." Ta stepped forward. "The neural interface we've developed with the Kithari has already improved our sensor range by 200%. If we keep working together, we might be able to fight back." Commander Jun looked around the room. "Earth Command has called an emergency meeting to discuss our response to this attack. Captain Gina, they want you and the Kithari sisters to attend via secure channel." Gina nodded, then turned to the sisters. "Whatever happens, we face it together now." Nayara's crystal face reflected the stars as she responded. "Together. A concept we are coming to understand very well." Earth prepared for war in the days following the attack on Titan. Ships gathered around Mars, forming the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled. Scientists worked day and night, adding Kithari technology to Earth's weapons and shields. In the command center of the defense station, Captain Gina and Commander Jun studied the enemy positions. "The collective ships haven't moved," Jun noted. "They're still just watching. They're waiting for something," Gina said. "Maybe more ships or a better moment to attack." Nayara and Lyra entered the room wearing the special suits Bomi had designed for them. The suits protected their crystal bodies and contained communication equipment that allowed them to connect with Earth's systems. "We've finished the upgrades to the flagship," Lyra announced. "Your largest ship, the Defender, can now support a shared neural network. With us connected to it, your crew will think and move as one. Like we did on the horizon, but better," Nayara added. "Your ships will respond to thoughts faster than to button presses." Bomi followed them, carrying a box of neural interface devices. We've made enough for all key personnel on the main ships, she explained. Not everyone needs to be connected, just pilots, weapons officers, and commanders. Later that day, Commander Jun called Gina to his office. On his screen was Admiral Da from Earth Command. Our long-range sensors have detected more collective ships heading toward our system, the Admiral said gravely. They'll arrive in 2 days. We can't wait any longer. We need to attack first. With what plan? Gina asked. The Kithari have helped us modify our weapons, Jun explained. We believe we can damage their ships enough to force them to retreat. Gina looked skeptical. And if that doesn't work? Then at least we fought on our terms, not theirs, Admiral Day said firmly. The attack begins tomorrow. Captain Gina, you'll command the Defender with the Kithari sisters on board. Your ship will lead the first strike. The next morning, Earth's fleet moved into position. From the bridge of the Defender, Gina could see dozens of ships, large and small, ready for battle. All ships report ready, Captain, Lieutenant Jin said from his station. Gina turned to the Kithari sisters who stood on special platforms connected to the ship's systems. Are you ready? Yes, they answered together. We've prepared the neural network. When you give the order, we'll connect everyone. Gina touched her neural interface. Let's begin. The moment the sisters activated the network, Gina felt her mind expand. She could sense every person wearing an interface on the ship. She knew exactly where each crew member was and what they were doing. More surprisingly, she could feel the ship itself through the sisters' connection to its systems. This is amazing, she whispered. We feel every inch of this ship as if it were our own body, Nayara explained. And now so do you. The fleet moved forward, approaching the waiting collective ships. As they came within firing range, Gina gave the order to attack. Earth ships fired their new weapons. Beams of energy infused with Kithari crystal technology hit the black collective ships. For a moment, it seemed to work. The enemy shields flickered. But then more collective ships appeared, seemingly from nowhere. Where did they come from? Jun demanded over the communication channel. They were hidden, Nayara realized. Their ships can mask themselves just like we masked our ship. The collective ships returned fire. Their weapons were powerful, cutting through the upgraded shields of several Earth vessels. Evasive maneuvers, Gina ordered. Thanks to the neural network, the Defender responded instantly, moving smoothly away from enemy fire. In the midst of battle, a massive collective ship appeared. It was 3 times larger than any of the others. A voice boomed across all communication channels. Humans of Earth, you shelter that which belongs to us. Surrender the Kithari resonators, and we will spare your world. Don't answer, Nayara warned. They're scanning for our exact location. Gateway? Gina asked, confused. Lyra's crystal face darkened. They want to use our resonance pattern to create a wormhole. It would bring their entire fleet here instantly. Thousands of ships, not just these few. The battle intensified. Despite the enhanced technology, Earth ships were being destroyed one by one. The neural network filled with pain as connected crew members were injured or killed. We're losing, Minna reported, her voice tight. Our shields can't hold much longer. Gina felt desperation rising in her crew. Through the neural link, their fear threatened to overwhelm them. Then she noticed something strange. The Kithari sisters were filtering the emotions, keeping the worst of the fear from spreading. You're protecting us, she realized. Yes, Nayara confirmed. The collective uses fear to break resistance. We are dampening it as much as we can. This gave Gina an idea. If you can filter emotions from the network, can you also add them? Can you amplify specific thoughts or feelings? Yes, Lyra said. But why would you want to increase fear? Not fear, Gina said, her mind racing. What if we created a feedback loop of chaotic human thought? You said the collective can't understand our contradictions. What if we use that against them? A resonance pattern based on human thought. Nyara considered. It might disrupt their coordination. They depend on perfect synchronization between ships. But we would need to broadcast it directly into their network. Lyra added. We would have to get very close to their command ship. Gina looked at the massive collective vessel on the view screen. It sat behind the battle line, protected by smaller ships. Then that's exactly what we'll do, she decided. She opened a channel to all Earth ships. This is Captain Gina. We have a new plan. All ships, focus fire on creating a path to the collective command ship. The Defender is going in. As Earth forces regrouped for this desperate move, the Kithari sisters began preparing the most unusual weapon ever used in battle. Pure human consciousness. The Defender raced toward the collective command ship, dodging enemy fire as Earth's other vessels created a path for them. Inside the ship, Captain Gina and her crew prepared for their desperate plan. We need everyone on the neural network, Nyara explained. Every human mind adds complexity that the collective cannot predict. Crew members who hadn't used the neural interfaces before were quickly fitted with them. The feeling of connection surprised the newcomers as their thoughts joined the network. Remember, Gina told her crew through the link, don't try to think in any special way. Just be yourselves. Your natural human thoughts are exactly what we need. The sisters stood at the center of the bridge, their crystal bodies glowing brighter as they connected more deeply with the ship and its crew. Through the neural network, Gina could feel their effort as they shaped the chaotic stream of human consciousness into something that could be broadcast. Approaching the command ship, Minna announced, their shields are still up. Han looked up from his weapons console. Our new weapons can get through, but we have to be much closer. Then get us closer, Gina ordered. The Defender pushed forward, taking multiple hits. The ship shuddered, and warning lights flashed across the bridge. Shields at 40%, Tay reported. Engine damage on decks 3 and 4. On the screen, the massive collective command ship loomed larger. It was black like the others, but covered with strange protrusions that pulsed with purple light. Those are their communication arrays, Lyra explained. That's what we need to target. Gina made a quick decision. Han, focus all weapons on a single point in their shields. Mina, when you see an opening, take us in as close as possible. The Defender fired everything it had at the command ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small section of the enemy shields flickered and faded. Now, Gina shouted. Mina sent the ship diving through the gap before the shields could regenerate. They were so close now that the collective ship filled their entire view. We're within range, Nyara announced. Beginning broadcast. The sisters' bodies vibrated, creating a harmonious tone that spread through the ship. Through the neural network, every crew member felt their thoughts being gathered, amplified, and sent outward. It was a strange feeling. Gina could sense fragments of her own thoughts mixed with those of her crew, hopes and fears, logical plans and emotional reactions, memories and dreams. All of it flowed through the Kithari sisters and toward the collective ship. Nothing happened at first. Then the purple lights on the collective ship began to flash irregularly. It's working, Lyra said, her mental voice trained with effort. Their network is trying to process the input. Through the neural link, Gina could feel the sisters struggle. They were caught between two competing patterns, the rigid order of the collective and the beautiful chaos of human thought. Your minds are so beautifully chaotic, Nyara observed, even as she worked, so perfectly firm in their individuality, yet capable of working together without losing that individuality. The collective command ship suddenly fired all its weapons, but the shots went in random directions, missing the Defender completely. Some even hit other collective ships. They're losing control, Han exclaimed. On the screen, the smaller collective ships began to move erratically. Some drifted aimlessly, while others fled in different directions. Their coordination is breaking down, Tai explained, reading his sensors. The hive mind can't maintain connections between ships. But the effort was taking a toll on the Kithari sisters. Their crystal bodies had begun to crack in places, thin lines spreading across their surfaces. "You're hurting yourselves," Gina realized. "We need to stop." "Not yet," Nayara insisted. "The command ship is still functioning. We must continue until their network completely fails." The Defender took another hit, knocking out power to several decks. Emergency lights came on as the ship struggled to maintain position. "We can't take much more of this," Han warned. Just when it seemed the Defender would be destroyed, the collective command ship's lights went completely dark. For a moment, everything was still. Then explosions began to ripple across its surface. "Their power core is destabilizing," Tay reported. "I think their systems are shutting down randomly." "Get us out of here," Gina ordered. Mina guided the damaged Defender away from the failing command ship. Behind them, the massive vessel broke apart in a series of explosions. All across the battlefield, the remaining collective ships were retreating or drifting helplessly in space. Without the command ship to coordinate them, they could no longer function as a unified force. "We did it," Gina breathed. The neural network buzzed with relief and joy from the crew, but Gina could also feel the Kithari sisters' pain. Their bodies were severely damaged from the strain of broadcasting human consciousness. "Medical team to the bridge," she called urgently. Back at the Mars Defense Station, Earth celebrated its first interstellar victory. The few collective ships that could still move had fled the solar system. Scientists examined the disabled ships that remained, learning much about the enemy's technology. Dr. Bomi worked day and night to help the Kithari sisters heal. Their crystal bodies slowly repaired themselves with special light treatments she developed. A month after the battle, Gina visited them in the medical bay. "How are you feeling?" she asked. "Much better," Nayara said, her crystal face now smooth again. "Your doctor is very skilled." "I have news," Gina told them. "Earth's Council has officially granted you both citizenship. You are now legally residents of Earth, under the protection of our laws." Lyra's face brightened. "We have a home again. And a purpose," Nayara added. "Dr. Bomi has asked us to help establish Earth's first telepathic communication network. It will connect ships and colonies across the solar system," Lyra explained excitedly. "Instant communication, no matter the distance." 6 months later, the Kithari sisters stood before the United Nations on Earth. It was their first visit to the planet that had given them sanctuary. Representatives from all nations had gathered to hear them speak about the new technologies they were helping to develop. "When we fled our dying world," Nayara began, "we never imagined finding allies like you. The collective saw us as tools to be used. You saw us as people to be saved. We have studied many species across many stars," Lyra continued. "But humans are unique. Your minds contain beautiful contradictions, logic and emotion, selfishness and sacrifice, individuality and community. It was these contradictions that defeated the collective," Nayara explained. "Their perfect order could not understand your beautiful chaos. Human consciousness, with its wonderful inconsistencies, may be the galaxy's most powerful shield against forced uniformity." After the ceremony, Gina found the sisters looking out at Earth's blue oceans and green continents. "What will you do now?" she asked. "The communication network is almost complete." "There is much more to learn and share," Nayara said. "And we must prepare." "Prepare for what?" Gina asked. "The collective will return someday," Lyra said softly. "They always do. But next time, Earth will not face them alone. We have sent messages to other worlds that resist the collective," Nayara explained, "telling them about humans and what you accomplished. Some have already responded." Gina looked up at the stars, visible even in the daytime from the high tower where they stood. She thought about other worlds, other beings out there fighting for their right to remain themselves. "Then we'll be ready," she said. "Together." The Kithari sisters' crystal faces caught the sunlight, reflecting it in dazzling patterns that seemed to reach toward the stars.